Hey, what's up guys, this is Val Camera from Dreamlight. Welcome to this quick overview of Movie Maker Iray and the Metropolis Day set. So I'm going to show you quickly how this works, and basically this set was designed to give you quick rendering and quick design time because there is no lag of heavy props clogging your scenery. So basically, if you're just starting out, you can just preload all, or if you already have a scene, you can by all means load the cameras and the Iray preset on top of your scene without overriding it. Upon loading, as you can see, if I just switch to NVIDIA Iray preview, you can see that the camera angles are designed to give you full 360-degree camera freedom, right? Each of the nodes is designed to be freely rotated, and you have also several to choose from, 50 in fact. And as soon as you switch the camera, everything inside the studio also aligns. So I'm going to show you that in a second. Let's just throw in a car here real quick. So I'm going to go to vehicles and load my favorite car. There we go. Immediately upon loading, it ends up at 000 position, and this set is designed, if I go back now to, as you can see, the rendering is pretty much instant. There is very little lag. You can zoom in. All right, and each of the cameras has basically two versions, if you will. One of them is locked, and you can see here you've got locked versions of each of the cameras and also free versions of the cameras. Locked means you cannot move it, so it's just locked exactly as it was designed. And if I now switch to the different camera view here, let me just showcase that real quick. Let's go to my presets, Dreamlight, Iray, Movie Maker. Metropolis Day. And let's say I switch to a different camera angle. Let's say I choose number 6 and then switch to number 6 here. The car is exactly at the same spot, but I'm looking at it through a different camera. And again, this is a 360-degree camera, right? So you can zoom in as well. And these are 10K maps, so you can zoom in quite a lot, obviously not too much. And again, it was the decision I made to make 10K maps instead of 16K, just to lower the overhead and make it quicker to render. So basically, what you can do now is, let's go back to camera 0 and choose 0. You also have a free camera. Each version comes with a free camera as well. If I switch to that, basically it's unlocked. You can move the camera closer to the car, if you will. And I will just give you different options other than the locked camera. You can of course rotate the car around and, you know, make a manual, so to speak, adjustment and all that. And this also works with zooming in, right? That's pretty cool. Now let's go back to the locked one, which is the way it's designed to be used for animation. Pretty much I'm gonna set up here total frames, let's say 100, and I'm gonna move my car. I'm gonna rotate the wheels right now. I'm just gonna move the car. So basically I want to move it from, let's say, minus 2000 to at frame 99 2000. All right, so I've set up the motion of the car. And also a cool lead function of this latest DAZ Studio versions, you can select your keyframes and turn them into linear. This is outside the screen right now. If you click here, you can choose linear, which means the car will not accelerate towards your like it normally does and then deaccelerate at the end. It will just have a static motion from start to finish. So it's kind of useful if you want to have that. I'll select the first frame here and also choose linear. Now what I want to do next is select the camera. I'm going to animate the locked camera, and at frame 0 I'm going to locate the car. Let's zoom in a little bit on it. Okay, that's it. Then I'm going to move all the way back to 99. There we go. Rotate along the car. and zoom out. So we have a nice view of the city, like so, right? And it's ready. It's ready to render. What you can do if you like now is along the path you can fine tune the camera. Okay, it's a little bit high here. You can go ahead and maybe lower a little bit here. Go ahead here and see how it performs here. Maybe we can fine tune it slightly here as well. Let's rotate it slightly to right. And there we go. And now if you want to render this, obviously you want to go in here, render image series, define the range, base name, use JPEG. It's really quick. BMP for high quality, also higher disk space, and then choose the folder and let it render. And the thing is, it renders very, very, very quickly. And the default kind of quality setting here is to set to 1 and 5000, but really you can get away with a lot lower settings than that. And obviously right now I'm using dual RTX 280 Ti cards, so I am on a very fast system, but the rendering, let me just the rendering is very, very, very quick. And what I can do is I can show you a still image and just let it render with the default settings and all that. You can just go ahead and look at it here in real time. Just it goes pretty much almost instant. So you have, you know, very fast rendering, and you can then also further select maybe lower quality, because everything here is already pre-rendered under the car. It goes really, really fast to render. It takes seconds, not minutes, not hours, right? As you can see, it's very, very, very fast, and it looks really good because it's only the car that needs to be rendered. Everything else is already pre-rendered using this very machine. So I had a really high quality setting on these maps. So and even though if we are using, let's say we go and use CPU only, right? Let's say we only use and render the CPU here, nothing else. It's still very, very, very fast. So I'm only using CPU rendering right now, not the graphic card. See, in just a few seconds, you already have a decent looking animation. Right now, after 15 seconds on a CPU, you have a decent animation frame rendered. So you don't have to spend hours or weeks or days rendering your animations. You can get this clips doing pretty well at, well, right now 30 seconds on CPU rendering only, right? So it is that fast, guys, and this is why I designed Movie Maker to make, well, stills and animation really, really fast to render. Now that this car is designed to move now, what you can do at any time is obviously switch to a different camera. So let's say we go and switch to a top camera like this one, 28. Let's click on it. Let's go to locked 28. Immediately you see the car at the correct space. And if you now move the timeline back, you can see that the car is indeed moving at the exact same spot you designed it to move, but it's from a different camera. And now obviously this camera has its own you know, animation possibilities, right? You can zoom in on it, zoom out, a little bit too much, right? And you know, pick the portions that you want to have here. So it's that cool and that fast. And this is CPU only right now, right? I'm not doing any tricks, guys. It's CPU only. It's that fast. So guys, that's pretty much, you know, designing just a simple thing. And I'm just going to show you another thing. Let me just switch over to my GTX cards. And the thing is, if you want to quickly move the car to a different spot, a cool thing is you can add a null object and parent the car to it. You already have the car motion, but let's say you want to utilize a different portion of the set. Well, then move the null object, and often, you know, design your stuff at frame 0 so it doesn't jump around the scene, right? And at 0 now, you can move this to a different location, let's say 7000. Now the car jumps with its animation to over here. And then you can pick it up from a different camera. Let's say we want to pick it up from camera. Let's say why not just use camera 35 and go for 35. So it's that easy and that accurate. It always ends up exactly what it is. It's like a virtual set, but it's pre-rendered with different, camera angles. And you have beautiful vistas here. I mean, this is, like I said, 360 degree, right? And what you also have is very cool places, like this one, camera 42. Camera 42, locked. This one here, obviously now the car is positioned right there, which in this case doesn't really work out. But I just want to show you that you can have people walking here, right? I've designed this to have very, very cool camera angles. So you can have the car here, you can have people walking here, and 44. So it's that fast to work with and that much fun. So guys, this opens up for a whole new world. I'm gonna show you one additional example with a walking character. All right. And so before going into the character showcase, I want to also show you a couple of additional things you can do. I'm all about giving as much value as I possibly can, squeezing into a few minutes here. So let's go into camera 0 locked again, and let's choose that camera or a map and move our car back to its original position. All right, go back here. So here's our car again. Now, an issue you can face with any HDR map, frankly, is that when let's say we choose the unlocked version and move the camera closer, design our own framing and camera and all that here. You can do that. You can see it's very, very quick at previewing. And one thing in particular, if you want to have a depth of field effect, if you're doing a still image and you want to have a depth of field effect, normally if you set it to, let's say I go to camera locked and I choose depth of field on, and I'm gonna just locate the car here real quick. Let's go here, and there's the car, and here's our camera, and basically I'm just setting up this. Let's use top view on this, and let's select the car. I can just select the camera instead. There we go. Zoom out. I wanted to see the line. See this red dot here? That's the one you want to have on top of the car, right? And it's a little bit difficult to see here, so what we can do is switch to environment, choose backdrop, and color black. That will override what you see here in the view, but also give you, as you can see now, additional controls for framing. All right. We want to use the free camera. Sorry about that. I was using the wrong camera. There we go. That's our car. And basically what I want to do is set it to have a nice focus line right here on the beginning of the car, and set it to maybe 10, so it starts to decay over distance. And this will automatically, now if I remove this one here, blur the background. The problem with this is it also blurs the bottom of the render, right? But here's the thing, these renders go extremely fast to render, so by all means what you can do, let's just set quality 1 here. We're gonna render a full render as it is right now with the blurry background. All right, let's do that real quick. Just takes seconds, guys. It's that fast. And I can now save it here, and let's use BMP, and I'll call it car depth of field. Saved. Now I'm going to turn it off and do the exact same render. So I have 2 renders. What this now means is that I have one render where the ground underneath the car and around the car looks great, but I have no depth of field effect. And now I can tune or tone this render into the other one. So I can go ahead here and just save car no depth. All right, and open up these two images inside Photoshop. I'm gonna do that now. So I have the main render without depth of field here, and I have the one with here. I can just select Control A to select all, Control C to copy, use Command and the Mac, go back here, Control V to paste, and now I can click here at the bottom, create a mask right here, click on this layer. Now I'm going to select black and white, choose gradient, and simply somewhere around from here, draw a nice line that will automatically now keep the bottom of the render sharp and then progressively switch to the depth of field render. So this is how we can create very quickly and also have full control over the depth of field effect in post work and design these cool effects. Now back inside DAZ Studio, I'll show you another thing. When you have the camera free, what you can do pretty much is you can go very close to the car and create very cool exaggerated angles, right? And when you're all that low, you cannot see the ground, and because of that you can now play with depth of field, as you can see, and get away with it being just like that. Now we don't need to render two renders, it's working great here because we don't see the ground. So this is also great for those type of renders, right? And obviously if you have people and you zoom in on their faces, I'm going to show that in a second, you can do that as well. And by all means, if there is a particular map that you just find is awesome, for instance, I can just show you one here that looks really cool, which is, let me pick number, I think I'm going to pick number 35, all right? And let's go to number 35. See, sometimes when you have, and the car is where it's, well, we left it, so to speak, right? Sometimes we want to just be instantly here because let's say I want to do something here, right? Well, add a new camera, and by design, the new camera is already where the car is. So let me just select it here real quick. I'm having my recording window in the view here. There we go. And now, because this is a free camera, I can just simply shift this and have the car placed over here with this beautiful set. All right, and that's it. Guys, this is how fast it is to play with these 50 maps that give you aerial shots of the city, a low camera and all that, full 360 degrees, guys. Now, let me show you the walking character, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna remove the car and I'm gonna switch to a different type of scenery. I'm gonna choose this one over here called 43, camera 43, switch on here to 43, there we go. And I want to be using this set here because it's a wonderful piece of scenery with the ocean and all that. And I'm gonna throw in a character, so let's go ahead and do that. So I'm just gonna load basic Genesis 8 female. I'm gonna quickly just pause the video and add some clothing and hair to her. So I have just added a a cocktail dress here and all that. I have completely manual camera right now. So what I want to do is raise it off the ground a little bit. Move my character around here. So this is what you can do with a manual camera. You can just place your character anywhere you like. And what I want to do here is add a basic. First of all, I want to raise my character off the ground. You can, if you want, have automatic ground. I kind of do not recommend that you do this like automatic. It might work, but it might also throw in and move up and down depending on what your props are. So I would just simply shift the character here a few notches up so that she ends up above the ground. There we go. And basically I'm gonna now add a motion to my character. So I'm gonna go ahead here and alright, and what I'm gonna do is add SK motion, a high heel walk for Genesis 8. So I'm just gonna do it for a walk. There we go. And basically now I've got the animation set up. And it has its own height, so I'm just gonna tune it down a little bit. It's made for high heels. There we go. And pretty much we are now ready to animate, right? So at frame 0, we can pretty much move our character to a different position. We can move her a little bit to the side. Let's see, 100. That was the wrong side. Let's do this one. Let's do minus 100 here. So basically I'm just putting her when I want her to start her walk cycle. Let's do maybe minus 300. And then I'm also gonna set up the camera. The camera is free, okay? So I have, this is not a static camera, this is a free camera. So I'm gonna just set it here. And then at the very end, I think we have some additional movements here going on. Here, and I think it goes to frame, I think it goes to here, somewhere around there, right? And you can here follow along. And that's it, guys. That's our animation. We are done. So you can use this for, you know, car chases, for aerial flying stuff in the city, vehicles, people walking, all that. By all means, you can use it with billboards. So guys, this just opens up for a whole new set of quick rendering, and also, you know, animation possibilities, which previously were not kind of included in the same fashion. Because let's face it, if you have a really, you know, huge prop that's detailed, like 2 million polygons, and you try to animate inside it, it's gonna take a long time because you need to render everything over and over and over and over again, right? Here you can just simply design it, you know, design your animation, choose the camera, and off you go, right? It's that fast, and it renders instantly. Then guys, when you have rendered your sequence with multiple camera angles, what you can do is load them into a video editing software and just combine them together. And you can either do here normal edits, like this one over here, jumping from this one to this one over here. This is a free camera close to the car, right? You can also create smooth transitions like the one here. It's called the crossfade, that just fades, like eases into this this additional. I have a hard time previewing this live here, but it eases into the next clip. There we go. This sequence here was rendered using BMP format, so it's not suitable for playback live. But I can try and switch to draft quality here, use quarter, and see if that's possible to preview here a little bit quicker. It's not really previewing well. Like I said, this is a BMP format, so it takes a lot more space. Oh, and I almost forgot. I wanted to also show you one additional thing you can do when you have exactly these type of renders. When you zoom in a little bit on the character, right? In that case, by all means, what you can do is you can select depth of field on the camera and set it to catch the character. All right, and the rest is gonna be blurry. So you can use that for these type of renders as well, and you have full camera options here. You can go wild with this. There we go. Increasing this value here will make it less blurry, decreasing more so. So guys, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Go grab Movie Maker Iray now, the Metropolis DAZ set, and I'll see you soon again.